Everyone, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's Tournament Game 7, where we are playing Helheim. This is turn 29. Let's jump into things. Okay, so we've got a series of reanimations this turn, along with a couple of battles. So let's watch these battles. No particular order. We've got Helheim versus Marverni. So this looks like it's just a scout getting found out by Marverni. Although that would definitely make me a little hoo-hoo-hoo about what's going on with Helheim. I mean, it looks like this is mostly province defense. Yeah, that's a lot of province defense, though. I don't know if Marverni used that in defense against Agartha or something like that, but this is a lot of province defense to put into a province, although Cern is a big province for them. So we've also got a battle in Felden where one of our Jarls is going up against some light PD, and this is kind of my fault, but I did not communicate very clearly what my plans were for this turn. And so after our Jarl is victorious in Felden, we have a bump with Tirnanog, and Tirnanog brings to the table his own guy, which actually the She-Lords are very similar to our Van Jarls, right? We are air blood with Van Jarls. They are air nature. Same priest levels, much of the same abilities, although they have a couple of unique ones. They have iron vulnerability where we do not, but they also have spell singer where we do not. The big difference between the two of us is that She-Lords versus Van Jarls come with the golden spear, so they have a starting magic weapon, which is nice, right? In this particular scenario, it's not going to matter because we do have magic weapons. But from a base standpoint, that is a nice little bonus that the She-Lords get over the Van Jarls. Van Jarls, I think, are a little bit more defensive, but the She-Lords have a couple of other better abilities. So let's take a look at this real quick. Our Van Jarl is going to go through... We're actually going to go through very similar things, right? He goes Air Shield. I go Bless and then Air Shield. He goes Mist Form. I'm going to Mist Form next. He goes... what's the next one that he does? He does a Blessing next. I do Holy Avenger. Now, keep in mind, his casting is taking longer because he is a spell singer, right? So he can get through less of a buff cycle than I can. And we're done, so we're already kind of like running across. So we've got Air Shield, Blessing, Holy Avenger, and Mistform. He's only got Air Shield, Mistform, and his own Bless. Let's check his Bless real quick. He's got an attack skill, shock resistance 15, poison resistance 15, fire resistance 15, defense skill 2, HP 1, strength 6, and that's a kicker. Strength plus 6 means he is dishing out a ton of damage. Very nice. Let's go ahead and boost up to speed 2. We come running in, and let's take a look at our groups. Or at our thugs here. So he's got 16 HP. With everything told, he's got 19, 17, 21 as far as combat stats go. We've got 13, 15, 22. Right? So we've got slightly more defense, but his Bless is way more combat potential than our Bless is, outside of us getting Blood Surge. So once we hit Blood Surge, we will tend to do, again, the way these thugs are designed, I designed for fighting thugs versus groups of enemies, small armies or PD, right? So Blood Surge helps with that, and Reinvigoration helps with that. whereas his thug, his she-lord, is much more capable of fighting a thug. So this is interesting to know. So we go back and forth. Dodging, dodging. Ah, he gets a hit. My glamour is popped, and my mist form is popped. Okay. Go back and forth a little bit more, and... oh, we pop his, but we pop his right at the same time as he gets a nice solid hit on us. So we take 12 damage, we get a never healing wound, and immediately our morale breaks. And rightly so. Though, at the same time, we're right in the scenario, if he hits me, another almost any hit will kill me. But if I get him a good solid hit, I could kill him, right? But more likely he would win this duel, but instead, we flee. So, we do run, and combat speed-wise, we are equal, so he is unable to catch me. And we make it out. Our Van Jarl does actually survive the retreat, so that's good. But that was a nice little base thug, she-lord versus Van Jarl fight. Very cool. So we've got battle at Forest of Long Nights. There's another Van Jarl versus a small amount of PD. Easy peasy, we run in. Bop, bop. Dead. Pick up some extra XP on the way out. Very nice. Easy peasy. And then we have another battle in High Peaks. And this one, I believe, is with some actual hell hurtings. So this should go very easily. Blessing, blessing, air shield. And boop, there we go. Not a problem. So, easy victory in High Peaks. Unexpected event in Lyratos. The dominion of growth and fertility has been strong in this land for long enough to let life be born anew from the ashes and cinders of war and darkness. Oh, I remembered something. We're 27 turns in. I fucking remembered something. And what I remembered is that these events, right? These minor like population boost and +1 province income boosts, these are in direct relation to the repopulation mod. I forgot that this game was running that. This game is running a couple of different mods, and one of the mods is the repopulation mod. I can't remember the exact name of the name, but it helps counteract counteract death scales or nations like Ermor or Celeria or pop kill nations in general, right? And that is if your province, if you have a province that is under a certain amount of population, it will slowly tick up their population, right, to help counteract and get it back into a realistic, because there's a point where even with something like growth where your pop can be so low that the amount that you're actually increasing each turn is so inconsequential that it will never be a profitable province. But the mod helps speed that process up, right? It's not fast, don't get me wrong, but it'll get a population back up to like 5,000 way faster than it would otherwise. It's almost impossible once a population drops to like a 2,000 or 1,000. It's almost impossible for that to actually like tick up and be of any worth in a normal game. But with events like this, it'll actually tick up and reach that stage where it's profitable far quicker. And I think all of these little bitty province income events are those events. So that's what this is. Interesting. Then we have an event in Srimklever. where a huge copper bowl was excavated from an ancient buried settlement. The proud locals put it on in a shrine, somewhat covering my effigy, and a visiting leper was cured, and now a cult has formed around the bowl, so our dominion has changed in Strimcliver. Unfortunate. So what are we doing this turn? Not much. We talked about what our plans for the war against Saramatia are, and that is to kind of like stranglehold him out. If we think about it, his income right now is going to be severely limited, to the point to where if Tirnanog and I can put a good hold onto his final few provinces and continue to threaten his capital, that being the big deal, right? Continue to threaten his capital. He is going to have to choose. He's going to slowly suffocate, basically. If we think about how much are we getting out of our capital? We're getting 420 income out of our capital. And if we think we're already up to 646 upkeep, he's not got much. He is not getting if he's getting a good amount out of his capital, he's maybe getting 450, right? If we say that Glimmering Fields is a really good province, just like Brightgate is, maybe he's getting 150 from that. And then maybe Gifa is another decently good province, maybe he's getting 100 from that. So all told, and we're being generous, right? If he's doing 450, 150, 100, then he's looking at maybe 650 income a month. So that, one, keeps him from being able to produce a large amount every month, and two, it also means that he has to worry about his upkeep, because if you go over to the point to your upkeep, if your upkeep is higher than your income, you can start losing people, right? Because you can't pay for them. So we are in this scenario where we want to strangle Saramatia out, and then we want to, over the course of time, kind of wear him down, wear what he has available down, and then slowly take him out of the game. Part of the plan for that is to hit Glimmering Fields and Gifa. If these are both really good provinces and we can take them out of his pocket, then that's another way for us to help diminish. If we can get him down to where he only reliably has Saramatia and he is relying off of his capital's income to allow him to recruit, then it's going to be difficult for him to maintain as much as he is going to need to fight us in a head-to-head. That's going to take some time, honestly. It's going to take a while. So the first thing that we're doing is this turn we are hitting Gifa with Jarl, or with Hearst 22 and Hearst 19. They both have small amounts of they both have small groups of Hellherdings. And what we're going to do is hopefully take the top of the province, right? Siege it, and then we might drop some mercenaries on it, depending on what's available, right? Speaking of mercenaries, we are rehiring Bernard's Brave Men, because we've got a good deal on them, might as well. And otherwise, we are hunkering down in Brightgate. Brightgate is a great province. We're going to start building a palisade there. We're going to do a little bit of site searching there for basically just for H3, because that's the only thing we haven't site searched there from these people. And then we're just going to patrol there and hold Brightgate for now. The hope being is that he's not going to realize what we're doing in time to stop us from doing it, right? This turn, he might venture out. This turn, I'm assuming he actually patrolled with everything on his capital to try to defeat me if I moved my army onto his capital, but we did not. We pulled back instead. That was what I was thinking about, pinging his capital to confirm if he did that last turn, but he did not. So this turn, it's possible that he strikes out, right? And we're going to go back and forth into this raid, counter raid, raid, counter raid kind of scenario. And we're at the ready to do that. We are actually bringing out more Hellherdings to Brightgate, and we're sending Jarls back to Helheim, both so they can start ferrying forth Hellherdings, but also so that they can research and potentially pop out and start doing blood hunting as well. That's another thing that we're looking into. So we're building palisades. We're gonna keep going for that. We did get our first Hangadrot this turn. Ended up being a Death Hangadrot, which is pretty nifty. We can get to the point to where this guy can get very high in death. Just on his own, he can make a Skull Staff, which gets him up to Death 5. He can make a Skull Cap, which gets him up to Death 6. Death 6 can do stuff like Well of Misery, right? So that is an option for us to go for. So that's pretty cool. And what else are we doing? Continuing to recruit. We are stopping a Hangadrot this turn and just doing a van here because I needed enough money to be able to do the palisades and to recruit or re-recruit the brave men, and potentially have money left over to drop a temple and a lab next turn, right? So we're gonna do that. We are sending more reinforcements into Brightgate with Commander 1. We're bringing in more reinforcements with Commander 2 into Helheim. We are sending King 2 out with more reinforcements to Brightgate. Basically, we're just continuing to produce and funnel these troops up into a more offensive posturing position with Saramatia. In the meantime, we're looking for other opportunities, right? That is not to say that this war with Saramatia is far from over, and it's far from won, right? Saramatia could still very well destroy us, but the way we win is not by focusing necessarily on just throwing everything we can at their capital over and over and over again until they break or we break. How we win is by strangleholding them while looking to our own devices, right? So in that vein, research-wise, we're really trying to focus on pushing our research up to a more respectable level. We've got construction for this next turn, which is going to be good for us. Then we will need to move into some evocation probably. So we're going to be doing that. Evocation is going to get us things like Lightning Bolt, eventually going up to Thunderstrike and Storm, right? We might not go that far immediately, but we definitely want to get 2 to 3 levels in Evocation, and then we might actually jump up into some Blood Magic. And probably take a dip in Thaumaturgy sooner or later, but Blood Magic is probably the next on the level. With Construction 4, I think it's Construction 4, we will be able to... Yeah, so Construction 4 should give us some access to Sanguine Dowsing Rods. So we can throw some Sanguine Dowsing Rods on some of our Van Jarls, and we're probably going to look at Sinafe as our blood hunting province. It's in a nice position in between Kronberg and Helheim, so we can put out patrollers, which undead will work just fine as those patrollers, so we could send them out, send a King 3 or something out with a stack of skeletons to patrol in Sinafe. And we might start blood hunting in earnest pretty shortly. But we don't really have a goal for our blood magic. We need to establish one. There are a couple of options. Going for Storm Demons is typically something that works fairly well, but unfortunately, Saramatia has gone pretty heavily into an air resist. They've got shock 10 resistance. So Storm Demons are going to do less well, in theory. We do have some other options, right? We can actually That's for battle. What am I looking for? There is something. What was it? Was it Ratha? No. There's something relatively early on that I was looking at to do for... Maybe it was Frost Fiends. But that wouldn't have made sense. That's a different game, I think. Devils? No. Devils could be good, but this isn't a very turn-efficient spell. I don't know, there was something that I was looking at that I was like, oh, this might be decent to go for. But yeah, we'll have to see. Whatever it is, it's not connecting my brain right now. So that's an option that we might be doing in the near future, is heading into Blood. We're going to continue to produce Van Heers in Kohnberg, continue to produce Owl Quills. Next turn, once we hit Construction 4, we'll like I said, we'll do the Earth Boots into a Dwarven Hammer into another Dwarven Hammer, and rinse and repeat that kind of cycle. We are hoping to get some more Earth sites out of this Svartalf, and some more Any sites out of this Jade Sorceress. So fingers crossed. And that's kind of it. That's kind of it for the turn. Not a whole lot going on, but that's because of the situation that we're in with Saramatia. We've got to strangle them out and go from there. Gifa, going for Gifa is somewhat risky. I kind of would rather Tirnanog take the heat on Gifa, but Tirnanog is doing stuff, and they're supposed to be hitting 85, 86, and 81 this turn. The only issue is that they're somewhat distracted. They're playing pretty opportunistically, so they're hitting Hinnom, and I think a lot of their attention is going to be focused on getting what they can between themselves and Abyssia, as far as Hinnom is concerned. I am worried that they're not going to be putting enough into Saramatia for me to rely on them, so I'm going to try to hit Gifa myself and really, get it out of the way. We'll see, though. Alright, I think that's it for the turn. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.